It's a beautiful morning. Oh, it's a beautiful morning. Oh, it's a beautiful morning. Oh, got some chips and salsa, eating off a plate. TTX. I feel like this is like the opening montage of a movie where you're trying to explain why this guy is where he's at in life, and you're just doing an overview of like what you're seeing. You're just like, oh, yeah. It's Magazine Monday, everybody. How's it going? My name's Timmy D, and we're going to look through some magazines today. I already did one on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at the Railroads and Rock and Roll, or not the, at Railroads and Rock and Roll, and it's an N, not and, Railroads and Rock and Roll. Follow me on TikTok at the Railroads Rock Show, or actually it's just TikTok, it's at Railroads Rock. And even on YouTube, it's at Railroads Rock. I got to get those things down. Let's get to it. All right, so these are our three magazines for Magazine Monday. We have the 98s, February 98, March 98, July 98. And this is a trains, model railroader. I couldn't find a rail model craftsman. And I mean, I've got buckets and buckets and buckets and magazines back there, and then in the bottom totes, and yeah, so magazines galore, but I just didn't want to dig through all that shit. Couldn't find a rail model craftsman from 98. Couldn't find a model railroading from 98, which I don't even know if they still existed around that time. But let's talk about this. Okay, so number one, this railroad might as well be a real railroad. And this is going off the prototype because it feels like everything this model railroad is, and it's not that big, but it's just so famous for being its own thing. We are the Utah belt. The Metah, no, the Utah. And then, we'll talk more about that later. But then we got this one, which is the old Morch of 98. And it is Pelle Solberg, the Denmarkian, the Danish fella. Are you Danish if you're from the Danes or from Denmark? Man, now I got to get on my geography. Anyways, Tehachapi Pass, or as I like to call it, Tehachapi. And this is based in right at the merger 90s. I would like to say right at 95. Class of 95! Right when everything was going down. Union Pacific was coming down the pike. Burlington Northern was, getting it done. That is 645. I actually like the fact that now I'm looking at this, realizing this is an Overland brass unit. That's got to be Overland. It had the extra wide windows on it because the Dash 9s didn't have that wide of a windows, but for some reason Overland, they did it just like, really in scale, size, it was probably, the windows were just an extra 3 inches too big or 6 inches too big, right between 3 and 6. 3-inch difference. You know what I mean? And then last but not least, Battle for Cleveland. That's right, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame town. And we've got Conrail quality. And this is right at the end of Conrail. This is when Conrail was goodbye-bye. Say goodbye to Conrail. You're not going to see any blues anymore. You're only going to get some CSX and some Norfolk Southern and some CSX. All right, let's get to it. Yeah, this ain't made for kids. They're asking me on YouTube the other day. I love some of this track planning stuff. I actually used to have this software back in the day. Building, planning. I love how you can just put in structures. They have different structures to input. And it'll really tell you what you need. After you build it, it'll say, this is everything you need. 9! Scheiße! I love that. Just in case you guys are curious, this is where you get refreshments. How do you know that? Because it's called refreshments. Then again, every time I go to Hooters, I'm confused because I'm like, where do you keep the owls? Or is that the things you call buffalo chicken wings? Are we actually just eating owl? I don't know. This episode is sponsored by Marklin. Marklin, you want some Marklin? You're doing German things. Yeah, we're going to have this in Marklin. You have some schnitzel and schnoodle and noodle and boodle. That Marklin. You're having Marklin. Yes, you Euros. Them Krauts, man, you got to give it to them, man. Motherfuckers know how to do shit. I love this advertisement. The 1941 Chevrolet pickup. A masterpiece of engineering. A billet grill. Headlamps that would make you cry. And on top of that, not only white wall tires, but black tread tires. Where the good is going, and the going gets good, and the good gets going when the going gets good. All right, let's get into this. I don't even know. Athon. 10 packs. That's right. I have some 10 packs over there next to my Hooters. You got your Hooters. No, that's Marklin. Hi, man, get on down here. Hooters, we established back in the day in Florida. You might think we're a bunch of rednecks, but we're just dudes that like Hooters, man. And just so we're being clear, we're talking about titties. All right, next problem. Anyway, Athern, for the people who care about, I don't know. This looks like snow on Cajon Pass. I don't even know. But why do you have F units next to 10 packs? Este es confusing. I'm confused. Slices of time from Andy Sperandio. I always liked Andy's take on things. Great editor's notes, or editors, whatever you want to call them. We have. This could actually be, I remember whatever. I'm not even going to get into it. But this is why I like the Utah belt. It's got its own look. It's so unique. You got this safety tiger striping on the nose. Very much like if you were doing a Burlington Northern Triclops, but obviously the colors are gray and yellow. I love it with this black striping. You have the, not rotary, what am I thinking of? I guess rotary beacon. No, because it would be like no, this is a gyrolite. It's got to be a gyrolite. But I love it. You got your ditch lights, regular headlights, gyrolite. I don't know why you would use that, but it's so cool. And that's on an SC60M. And then behind it, let's look. We've got some, it almost looks like Jeep 40s. Hang on, let's zoom in here if it does it. But those are Q fans. That looks like a Jeep 38 right there. 2 fans, 3 fans. 3 fans, but these are Q fans, and those are, if you look, you got 2 fans here, so that's got to be a 38, 3 fans there, that's got to be a 50, and then, but you have these flat fans back here, and there's 3 of them, that's got to be a 40, so 40, 50, 38, and then behind a 60M. That's how we figure it out. I mean, EMD has its own spagoodle, and then you have all this, I mean, the whole idea of this article is new power on the Utah belt. Utah, Metah, we all ta, and this is the Ulta, the ultimate, which is Utah belt. And there we go. We've got the headlamps, ditch lights. This is probably one of the old school constant lightings. I don't know if they had DCC yet on the layout. I've never read an article of when they transferred or changed over to DCC. Obviously, they have had to, because if you watch on YouTube, Fall River Subdivision, I think, or is it NS Modeler? Maybe it's the Norfolk Southern dude that has a couple of these Utah belt units. I don't know. Maybe Fall River. Well, one way or the other, they run DCC, so they had to have changed over to DCC eventually. But these are the Athern SD75Is. It even says right here. And the way I know that is because I already did my Magazine Monday on the Instagram. So if you head over and visit me on Railroads Rock and Roll, you could find my little chat about this. But yeah, the SD75Is, this was the to-do model that came out from Athern. This was the first model that was in the Genesis line. Fun fact, Athern's first Genesis line model was an SD75I. You had the BNSF SD75I and SD75Ms, which I believe the M's were afterwards. The I's were the first one out of the gate. And then you have this wonderful GP60. Look at that. You got the Q fans up there. 1, 2, 3. That's got to be the 40 because it's the flat fans. See the difference? Flat and then Q. You will if you notice. And they got that dynamic blister, that big blister on the dynamic brake. As you can see, it's almost like somebody took Legos and slapped them on the side of an EMD unit. And I just love the lighting package, man. Hi, man, nice package. Thank you, good sir. Thank you, good sir. I love this station. This is great. One of the things that, if you ever notice with Model Railroader, they do the layout overview. And I love this. If you are somebody who has your own layout, good on you, even if it's a shelf layout. Even if you didn't have a peninsula. This is what they talk about when you have a peninsula. It comes out into the middle of the room. This is amazing. I love how you have the yard on the peninsula. It looks like you have some sort of staging. Yeah. Reverse loop staging. So reverse loop, staging, blah, blah, blah. And therefore you're going point to point. And now in the world of DCC, I mean, you could have a train just running the whole time, point to point. Just keep on moving, man. Look at that. Really cool. Descanso, formerly Driscoll. You got yourself a general store, loading ramps. God, I love how it's all just documented. East Benton, Ephraim. And if you've ever been up to Utah, this picture makes total sense. You know, you have kind of the lowlands on the far side, so you have these beautiful trees, beautiful forests. Utah is such beautiful country, especially central Utah. As you're coming up into the Salt Lake area, look at that. But you get just scenes like this. That, we're coming out of a tunnel, and there's a river. Beautiful looking engine. This SD75i is something else. And I remember reading this article like it was yesterday. Man, this was one of those articles. I love the really high-mounted snowplows here. But above, these SD9s are the last remaining first-generation diesels on the Utah belt. They match the TCI oil and Ephraim. The aspen trees haven't begun turning at the lower elevations, meaning that the time period of this layout is in the early fall. As you can see, fall trees. And here's this beautiful, look at that skull. Beautiful looking man here, Mr. Eric Bruman. Eric Bruman. Master purveyor of the layout. I actually remember this article too because I read this magazine a bunch of times. I was a huge fan of the Utah Belt. I love that they were doing, sorry, I just dropped the camera. They were doing, or phone, whatever you want to call it. Model Railroad Planning 98, that's what this article is in. You could see a really cool overview of the layout. Once again, shelf layout with the peninsula. I mean, that's not that wide. I just went out to Dick Trotter's layout out in Lakeside. And I wish there were some shots of this. But I'm going to do a little series on that in the next couple weeks, talk about it, review some of the video footage. And, yeah, gotta love trackside photos. Gotta love this. Just did a T-shirt with this style. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the New York Flyer from the New York Central Railroad. Here, let's take a look at the caption. What does it say? Boom, 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 boom. New York Central's 20th. Oh, no, it's the 20th Century Limited. All right. They're smarter. Got a bone up on my info. Love this Camelback. Look, that looks rad. A little bit of East Coast. East Coast railroading is its own breed. It truly is. Like, and I mean Northeast. Like, if you model Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Boston, Rhode Island. Well, I don't even know if there's trains in Rhode Island. Somebody prove me wrong. I mean, there is, but I mean, really. Connecticut, or as they say, New Haven, New York, New Jersey, Long Island Railway Express, Pennsylvania, even down into Maryland and all that stuff. But pretty much the OG 13 colonies, that kind of railroading is just, it's something else. Anyways, we'll get to it. Let's go to the next one. Tehachapi Pass. Yahoo! This is the Model Railroader magazine I really love. But that's cool. Utah Belt. Tehachapi Pass, let's get to it. Shwa! Shwa! Catching the act. Shun at Caliente. Yeah, catching the action at Caliente. This is a very compressed layout that looks amazing. Pelle Solberg. You got a nice little Rail Power Products Jeep 60M there. This is 90, so you can see very well detailed. SD40-2, or no, that's not 40-2. That's an SD45-2-ish. It's an SD40-2 and what looks to be an SD40-2, but that looks like a 45-2. When you come down here, and I was already looking at this earlier, so I know that 930 is an SD45. That's hanging out on the side track or passing or something. Very good staged photos. These photos look top titty notch. And then obviously you got that Overland Dash 9. Was that a Dash 9? No, it's a Dash 8. Could be an Overland though. I'd like to say it's an Overland. A lot of brass on this to get those newer locomotives. Remember, this is 1998. The only new stuff that had come out so far was the SD75i, some of the Jeep 60s. Rail Power Products did a shell on the Athearn Jeep 60. Plus, they sold their own. I think they sold their own chassis to do it correctly. I don't know. Don't quote me on the quoting. I was a young blood at the time, but from what I recall, I love this. You got a Union Pacific Dash 9 right there. That's that SD45 again, number 9030. You got some really cool looking auto racks, probably Walther's auto racks at the time. There's that SD45 again, 9030. You got some UP leading the charge, so this is right at the merger we're looking at. Obviously, it's 98, but it seems like he's modeling right post-merger, like 95, 96, where things were still retaining. Obviously, when you have a Southern Pacific SD45 with the old-style lettering, not even the speed lettering, you're dealing with that stuff. I always thought it was a single. Well, maybe it is two. Maybe it is two bridges over Caliente Creek. Love that. Nice little Dash 840C. You could tell it's a C because of the C trucks. 3 axles on each truck, so you have a 6-axle unit. Obviously like an SD40-2, which is what? A special duty. GP, general purpose. And you can tell the difference because general purpose, GP, 4-axle, SD, 6-axle. Same within the GE realm was C trucks or B trucks. B trucks are this beautiful thing, probably a B30-7, B23-7. No, that's a B30 because it's got the wash tub on the back for the ventilator. That was where the exhaust came out, just so you ladies are clear. All right. That's where the exhaust comes out. And then you got a nice little Caliente road here. And if we go to the diagram, you can see just how compressed this is. I love how you have the arrows showing how the pictures are taken. We have one picture here. That's where it's coming out of Tunnel 1. But when Tunnel 1 comes out over at Caliente, I know this is a very compressed look, but that's how it feels. It looks like you're looking at something right here, and then you look up a little bit, and boom. Selective compression. And it's beautifully done. All of the landscape, you got this giant culvert here. I mean, that's what it actually looks like. Or not culvert, tunnel portal. Sorry. My apologies. But you could tell, you come out of Bakersfield Yard and you're missing Edison, Magundon, Sandcut, Bena, all this stuff. But selective compression brings you right to there, the end of the yard. And then, zootalo, now you're in Caliente. So you're facing one way, boom. And you're in this scene, you turn around the other way, and all of a sudden you're, boom, 40 miles away in Caliente. See what I did there? God, I feel like I'm Dr. Seuss when I speak. I'm speaking in rhymes. Watch The Grinch Stole Christmas. You'll get that reference. The one with Jim Carrey. I love this. Yeah, there's that Overland Dash 9 again. B40, that's a 500 series. Let me zoom in, see if this will actually fuck us. And then there's another B40. But you always got to love the gull wings. And then you get into there's that thing again. Somebody look up the number here. What is that number? 6398, if I'm not mistaken. So probably a B30-7. Maybe B23. I think it's a B30 because of the trucks. But it's definitely the B because of the trucks. It's only 4-axle, but what that model was. And then obviously right behind it, Jeep 50, and if that's the squarish blower housing, then it's, nope, that's an SD40-2. Boom, you can tell. 6 axles. SD, special duty. And then there's that number 8 shot, that last shot where, and this shot is that's it coming out of Tunnel 1. And then it probably, so you've gained elevation, then it probably does a little downhill into Bakersfield, and you have McDonald's. Great shot. The general store and the post office. So cool. Beautiful. Look at that old school Santa Fe double stack right there. You ain't see that shit anymore. Anyways, let's talk to Pelle. That Danish twat. Him and Lars Ulrich from Metallica got something in common. They're both Danish twats. All right, that's about that. Oh, my gosh. All right, so on my little Instagram story for Along the Line, I talked about Elizabethtown. Go waste some time on that. But we're not going to read this Kato. And this is why I think it's Kato, not Kato, is because it's K-A-T-O. Not two T's, one T. Kato. Phonetically, that's how it should be said. D-Chi-Chi. All over the place. I'm going to read this along the line for this episode. Don't look down. We'll get to that. Let's get to the trains really quick. Conrail quality. Battle for Cleveland. Let's take a look through this really quick. BNSF put through the 2-1. This is railroad news. This is old news. But hey, let's look at some news here. Conrail with CSX. So obviously the merger had happened. Cleveland, center of controversy. Residents are fighting CSX's and NS's post-Conrail operating plans because one railroad knows what they're doing and the other one doesn't. You be the judge. And that's about that. Look at Cleveland. I remember going there on tour many times. Look at, there's the Amtrak. Oh, we're hauling a bunch of crazy stuff. Double-decker, single-decker, double-decker stuff. Really cool, though. Gotta love Amtrak. Pepsi can P32-8, although it's a BW. Photos and photos and photos and photos. Look at that. SW1000 probably. I don't know. Idaho something. Yeah, you are. Jeep 38. Count the fans. Wisconsin Central. These are cool. These are upgraded SD9s. Look at that. Still got the SD9 on the back, but it's got the nice new SD front. Nice new cab. Nice that box cab. I don't even know. So now they qualify. Here, let's take a look. What does it say? Wisconsin SD20. Wow, that's cool. And then you've got the Railroad Titans. I love that little filigree right there next to the T. Railroad Titans. Read about it, man. This episode of PBS, we will be talking about the Titans of Railroading. Enjoy a beautiful summary of Graham Clayton Jr. or William Barton Strong or the Pecos Valley Southern. Hi, man. If you guys ever make it out to the Pecos Valley, you can, too, also see an SW7 doing its working man stuff. God, I have such a soft spot for switchers, and I love SW7s, SW1000s, 1500s. MP15s, I think they're more of a burly-looking unit, and then it's almost like a GP unit that's just been given a SW cab. But look at that, man. That's just something. What a beautiful picture. We're doing it old school, man. F-150 style. Take us out on the tracks, F-150. We're just going to drive along the tracks. We got this little liner thing that attaches to the bumper. Look at that, man. Pecos Valley. If you ever make your way out to Pecos Valley, get to the gravel pit. That sounds like a bar. Hey, man, what are you drinking? Welcome to the gravel pit. But I will say, after Pecos, you get to... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, yeah, it's right here. You got Pecos, Monhans, but my faves, Midland. If you ever get out to Midland, go say hi to Brandon from Riley's Cantina. Brandon owns Riley's Cantina. He's a good fella, good family fella. And also just runs a damn good bar with a damn good kitchen. Very, very Route 66 style, even though I don't know if it is part of Route 66. But I'll tell you what, Midland, that Riley's Cantina is something else, man. The Thebes Bridge. Yeah, so you get out there, go say hi to Brandon. Say, Timmy D from Pullman Standard sent me. All right, let's look at some, I mean it. tell Brandon from Riley's Cantina if he's there. Say, hey, yo, Timmy D from Pullman Standard said to say hi. And he'd be like, tell him I said hi as well. God, I love this. Southern Pacific, right at the merge. But that's going to be it for today. We got the trains. We got the model railroader. We ran a little long. Don't look down. The river has a couple million years head start on the railroad. Meaning, the railroad had to cross some pretty spectacular chasms with equally spectacular and expensive bridges. At least the old mill can still make the use of the river's power, and the bridge, a thorn in the railroad's side, is a real boon to photographers, though. Look at that. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Don't forget, the most important signal you get is going to be your next one. My name's Timmy D. Evan's coming over in a little while tonight. We're going to do some podcasting, but until then, enjoy the Magazine Monday. Keep subscribing. You ask how you can contribute to the podcast. I mean, please go over to our merch store. The link is in the below, and just get a t-shirt. So not only are you getting a t-shirt that advertises the fact that you love trains or the podcast, or if you know, take a look through the store. It's pretty rad. And if for our females out there, we do have some leggings, which my lady has a purr of, and they look great on her, and they're going to look great on you. Maybe I should take some pictures of those things. Say, see? They look good on her, and they'll look good on you. Anyways, have a wonderful day. My name's Timmy D, and until the next time, rock and roll. Do 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 do.